it's Miss Phoebus, and I'm back with another Algebra 1 EOC review. Today is day 14. All right, here's problem number 55. Okay, we have three measures that are going to be affected by a student who is 77 inches tall joining the class. Which ones are they? So we need our graphing calculator out, and this is one variable statistics. So we're only going to put things in L1. So we're going to clear out L2, and we're going to put our data points in. Now what I want to do is I want to only include the ones that are in the box. We will get the extra person in a little bit, but we want to figure out what our original baseline values are. All right, so we're going to hit stat, we're going to hit write, we're going to hit one variable statistics, and we have the mean is 65.3, so right next to the mean I would write 65.3. Standard deviation is 4.828, so 4.83. Let's see. We also need the interquartile range, which is 70 minus 62, which is 8. The median is 65, and then the range is 72 minus 54 is 18. All right, now before we go ahead and do this, I'll tell you the three that are most sensitive to an outlier, which I believe 77 is. It is beyond 72 quite a bit. So the three that are sensitive to, and I'm going to underline them. I'm not saying that these are the answers. We're going to look at what happens when we add them in. Mean is sensitive to outliers. Range is going to be sensitive to outliers because it's dealing with the things on the end. Standard deviation is also going to be sensitive to outliers. So in my mind, those are the three that I expect to change. The rest, not 100% sure. But what we're going to do is we're going to hit stat. We're going to go in and we're going to add our 77. So we're going to go to the bottom of the list, 77. Then we're going to do it again, stat, write 1. All right, so my mean is now 65.86. My standard deviation is now 5.33. My median is 65. Hey, look, that didn't change. Okay, so our range is 77 minus 54, which is 23. And our interquartile range is 70 minus 62, which is 8. So, yes, the ones that are sensitive to outliers are the three that we should expect to change. The mean, the range, and the standard deviation are all sensitive to the outliers. Here's problem number 56. All right, so this does have a y to the 4th. I don't want you to freak out. Remember we talked about to the 4th power, to the 6th power, those are perfect squares, okay? All right, this is one of our special polynomials, so that means that we have two parentheses that almost match. One has a plus, the other has a minus. We used the square root trick when we did this. So the parentheses almost match. The square root of y to the 4th is y squared because y squared times y squared is y to the 4th. So in the front, each one gets a y squared. And then in the back, the square root of 36 is 6. So we've got a positive 6 and we've got a negative 6. So does that match? I do believe it does right here. Now, the reason why we can't keep going is that here, this is not factorable. If it was something like y squared minus 9, we could factor it again, right? Because 9 is a perfect square. But 6 is not a perfect square. I can't find two numbers that multiply to give me negative 6 and add to give me 0. Over here, I can't find two numbers that multiply to give me positive 6 and add to give me 0. So that means that I can't continue factoring. But that is how you would factor a binomial with a y to the 4th in the front. Here's problem number 57. Right, average rate of change is just slope, guys, just slope. And so they give you two t values, which if you notice, this is the t-axis. And so those are really x values. And they want you to go from x equals 0, or t equals 0, to t equals 10. And if I connected those two blue points with a straight line, what would the slope of the line be? Well, I would do rise over run, right? I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So positive 4 over positive 10 is what, 2/5? That would be our average rate of change. You have to simplify that as a fraction. Do not give it as a decimal either. It needs to be a simplified fraction for average rate of change and slope. Here's problem number 58. So they give you all of this stuff and all of this word just to ask you what the domain of the graph is. It is an exponential function, and so most exponential functions have negative infinity to positive infinity as their domain, but this is the domain of the graph, and they're starting at 1900, and so that is an x value of 0, and then they're going up to an x value of 10. And they're even saying for each decade from 1900 to 2000, the data is modeled. So the domain of the graph, even though this line kind of goes past, really it should be from 0 to 10, decades since 1900. So A is going to be the best answer because that's what you're plugging in for X. Here's problem number 59. This is one that I warned you in one of the previous videos that they may not set you up for multiplication. So we do have to move everything over to the same side and then try to factor. So I am going to subtract 3a and add 3. And that's going to cancel out all of these pieces, and I've got 2a squared plus 5a minus 12 equals 0. All right, here I would slide and divide, so I'm going to slide that 2 to the end and multiply it times the negative 12. So I'm going to get a squared plus 5a minus 24. And then I'm going to find two numbers that multiply to give me negative 24 and add to give me 5. Those numbers are going to be 8 and negative 3. So I've got a plus 8, a minus 3, and then I have to go back. I did a slide with my 2, so I've got to go back and divide by 2, and that's going to be an a plus 4, which we have there as b, and a 2a minus 3, which we have here as d. Those are our two answers. Here's problem number 60. All right, we're talking about dot plots today, so if you did not watch that video yet, you're going to be maybe a little bit out of sorts on this, but don't worry, this is just a collection of points, right? So we have one value, so we can throw out C. C is not an option. We have two 2's, so let's see, 1, 2, so it could be A. It's not B because B only has 1 2 in the list. We already know it's not C. And okay, there's 2 2's. So then 3 3's. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay, there aren't 3 3's. So A is the correct answer. And so this is just taking a set of points and displaying them as a graph with a bunch of dots. That's what a dot plot is. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!